Hi, it's Leslie Meredith with Breakbulk Events and Media here in Rotterdam, and I have Sharanya from EIC. She's their specialist for Europe on energy projects, and she has finished giving a report to our assembled guests here, and then was also part of a panel on what's next in the energy transition. So she has covered a lot of ground. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. Hi.
Yeah. So can you sum up for us the opportunities and challenges in the European energy project market?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot of opportunities there across all of the sectors as well. So I think the renewables, I think 49% of the projects that we're seeing announced just in this year alone are from the renewable sectors as well. Offshore wind is starting to increase as well in terms of pipelines here, and energy transition in particular as well. We're seeing the numbers increasing on that front. So hydrogen and energy storage in particular, especially in Europe, are increasing their pipelines here. And even though we're not really seeing project announcements in oil and gas per se, we are seeing most of our investment opportunities in oil and gas still, and that's just because a lot of the profit margins are higher for the supply chain as well. So on that front, in the short term, we're seeing a lot of opportunities in oil and gas, particularly midstream and upstream here. And the transmission distribution sector as well, they're also picking up in terms of project announcements, a sector that's needed investment for a while, but it's starting to pick up pace there too. So definitely a lot of traction happening in terms of Europe and opportunities. And I think with the challenges, that's where it gets a little bit tricky, because even though we're seeing all these projects being announced in the energy transition sectors that I mentioned, especially with carbon capture and floating offshore wind as well, we are seeing these projects still in the very early stages. So even though they are opportunities, they are somewhat long term. And I think a lot needs to be done to make these projects move and start reaching those milestones of FEED, FID, EPC contracts being awarded as well. So I think that's one major challenge.
What's holding those financial decisions back, do you think?
I think it's just the nascency of the industry itself. So I think a lot of even though we're seeing all of these announcements from government and from developers that they want to build these, we're not really. I think a lot more needs to be done to help these projects get that funding to move forward, to actually reach FID. So I think the general challenges that we're seeing in terms of vessels being available, ports, cables, and so on, they will all start to play a role on this front. And I think the industry is yet to be proven. I think it's safe to say, like, even though these sectors are very interesting for the supply chain, they want to know how to get involved. I think they haven't really been proven yet in terms of their capabilities, because they're not really getting the required subsidies or the funding, depending on the country, to actually get going. And I think for private investors looking into this and seeing that, these countries are starting to stall a little bit, or they're not really moving as fast, they still need that backing to want to actually invest and provide their own support for these sectors as well. So I think it's at that stage where more needs to be done, again, outside of the targets and capacity additions, to help build and move these projects forward.
So what impact has the war in Ukraine had on energy projects?
It's definitely increased project announcements that I mentioned earlier. So again, especially with offshore wind, we've seen a surge of projects, especially near the North Sea, to build this even faster. And we're also seeing a lot of movement back into oil and gas as well. And I think it's because we need more of that stability, so that we're not as dependent as we were. And I think even especially in Europe, I mentioned in the session previously that we're seeing a rise in LNG projects as well, simply to replace the lost gas pipe from Russia as well. So we have our own new infrastructure that we can depend on. So we're relying on what we know in terms of oil and gas, but we are also moving into hydrogen, offshore wind, and carbon capture, and trying to develop that even further as well, to make sure that that's there as well for that energy transition. So I think it's pushed it a little bit further.
Interesting. All right. So as you look ahead and think about the people that are here at Breakbulk Europe, where do you see opportunities over the next 5 years for those people that are uh, more active during the project construction phase?
So in the short term, it's definitely going to be oil and gas. It's safe to say, because even though we've seen the project numbers decreasing, we're still seeing capex investments and projects being moving forward and securing FID in upstream and midstream projects. So that will definitely be one as well. We're still seeing gas-fired plants as well being built in Europe, even though we're not really seeing those being announced. They're still there being developed and pushed forward as well. So it's mainly those sectors as well. And when we look at the renewable sectors, it's more the commoditized solar, onshore wind sectors that have been around for a while and are quite self-dependent in terms of financing. And I would also say we're starting to see offshore wind really picking up in terms of continual construction as well. They're currently facing a lot of challenges in construction, but again, because of the capex size of an individual project, we are seeing that having a lot more investment opportunities there for supply chain as well. So probably not as much as oil and gas, but we're starting to see that pick up in the next 5 years too.
So taken on balance, are we looking optimistic or pessimistic?
You put me on the spot.
I know it.
I'm going to say I'm in the middle.
Okay.
I know that's not answering your question. I think we're going to move in terms of energy transition, but I don't think it's going to be at the pace that we want it to be. I think at the end of the day, it needs to happen, so we're going to see it move. But with all of the challenges that we're seeing and the bottlenecks that are starting to come forward, I think we're not really going to see that be a smooth transition, at least in the beginning, in these next 5 years. I think there's going to be a lot more challenges that we need to overcome. We need a lot more collaboration and people being on the same page, less siloed industries as well. I think that's a big one. I think a lot of the industries individually need to realize that they're all dependent on the same supply chain, so they need to be less siloed and work together on that front as well. So yeah, I think a lot more conversations and action in the next 5 years to hopefully make it smoother.
Okay. Well, we can make that happen right here.
We can, and we're starting to. So it's all good.
All right. Thank you so
Thank you
much
so
for
much.
all that great information and
Thank you.
insight.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.